Hello friends, we've got the world of finance meeting the passion of football head on. To some, it may seem like this is tampering with the purity of the game, but for many who love both finance and sports, this is where the magic happens. Let's get into it. Ares Management Company, or Ares for short, a whooping $378 billion alternatives investment manager, just poured some more gold into the Inter-Miami soccer club. And guess who's put this club under the spotlight? None other than Lionel Messi. Who can forget that unforgettable goal in the final moments of his debut match? Now here's the juicy bit. The new investment isn't just a mere pocket change. We're talking about an additional $75 million adding to their previous commitment. Stay with me and let's dive deeper into what this means for the world of football. Now if you're scratching your head wondering who's Ares, let's dive right in. Forget the old notion that football clubs are pure passion project run by lifelong fans with deep pockets. The reality, Major League Soccer and Premier League football clubs are big businesses. They're owned by investors seeking good returns. Let's be clear. While passion for sport is real, the financial allure of owning a club is undeniable, and this brings us to Ares. They're not just your average investor, they're a powerhouse in private equity. Think of them as the sharks of the financial world. From real estate to sports, they're everywhere. Since 2021, they've had their eyes on Inter-Miami. Remember when Beckham teamed up with the billionaire Mas brothers? A whopping $225 million got poured into the franchise. Why? Well, blend the Beckham charm, Messi's unmatched global fame, and Miami's football forever, and what do you get? A golden opportunity. Now Inter-Miami isn't a bargain. With an estimated valuation soaring over $600 million, it's a pricey catch. But with a city that breathes soccer, a team backed by big names, a smart strategy to max out cash flows and TV rights, Ares is clearly onto something. In the world of sports, you may mix astute business minds with a magnetic pull of icons like Beckham and Messi. It's a game changer, and that, my friends, sounds like a winning formula in business. Alright friends, let's dive deeper. Remember when the buzz was all about Messi's potential move? The guy wasn't easy to woo over to Miami. Think about it, just months before we saw Ronaldo jetting off to the Middle East. 6 months prior, we read about Saudi's aggressive sports tactics, diving into golf, F1, you name it. Now Messi, how does Messi compete when Saudi's clubs are flashing crazy figures like a $400 million salary? Yep. You heard that right, $400 million to play for Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. I mean, a few years ago, we'd all have laughed that off. But now, Ronaldo, Benzema, and other top players have set the bar, and not just as retiree moves, but prime-time plays. Although those massive paychecks might be a bit of a sweetener. So what made Messi say yes to Miami over such insane cash? We can only speculate about the offer details. Was it purely about money, or was it something more? Let's face it, it wouldn't have matched the $400 million over 2 years. But something about that Miami deal clicked for Messi. Any guesses? Watch this video till the end to find out. First, let's get one thing straight. While Miami seems like a dream spot in the sun, beaches, and a vibrant culture, it wasn't always the first pick for football enthusiasts. In fact, before Messi worked his magic, Inter-Miami was languishing at the bottom of the MLS Eastern Conference. But then Messi steps in and boom, they've won 4 straight games. This phenomena isn't new, it's simply the Messi effect. Let's rewind a bit. Football legends like Pelé, Rooney, and Thierry Henry all made their way to the US leagues. They aimed to leave a mark, but the expected soccer explosion in the US, especially after Pelé's move in the 70s, didn't quite manifest. So what's Messi betting on? It's not just about a handsome salary, though I'm sure the $20 to $30 million paycheck annually over the next 2.5 years doesn't really hurt. Nope, Messi and his agent are playing the long game. They're looking beyond just kicks and goals. The real question is, what will sustain Messi's income post-retirement? What ensures the money tap doesn't shut off when he hangs up the boots? Alright, now let's dive into the juicy details we've all been waiting for: Messi's contract. While we're still in the dark about the specifics, here's a hint. Post-retirement, this legend isn't just going to fade away. Picture this: Messi owning a piece of Inter-Miami alongside Beckham, both in the executive box. Pure class, right? But here's the real kicker. Apple has splashed a whopping $2.5 billion for the MLS coverage rights over the next decade. And Messi, he's not just watching from the sidelines. With every international MLS subscription, Messi's bank account gets a boost. Yep, you heard that right, a cut of every single subscription. Tying to his legacy with a brand as grand as Apple, imagine the gears of their marketing machinery working in his favor. 10 solid years of steady cash flow, part ownership in Inter-Miami, and that evergreen Adidas contract. Sounds like Messi's making some genius off-the-pitch moves, ensuring his future shines just as bright as his footballing past. Alright friends, have you ever wondered how legends like Michael Jordan and Lionel Messi not only changed the game on the court but also off it? Let's dive deep into the world of mega deals that changed sports forever. Remember Michael Jordan? I mean, who doesn't? But do you know the story behind his legendary Nike deal? Now most forget that the 1984 draft, Jordan wasn't the first pick. Standing at 6'6", he was considered small for basketball standards. The big men like Hakeem Olajuwon and Sam Bowie were the top choices. Yet, Nike saw potential and offered him a sweet 5% royalty deal on his brand. To some, it might have seemed like Nike was doing him a favor, but oh, how the tables have turned. Fast forward, and the Jordan brand pulled in a whopping $5.1 million just last year. And guess what? MJ, he pocketed a sweet $250 million without even touching a basketball. The man is practically printing money at this point. Let's switch gears. Enter Lionel Messi, one of the most iconic footballers of our era, eyeing the sunset of his illustrious career. Unlike Jordan, who was at the start of his journey, Messi is all about protecting and multiplying what he's earned. What's fascinating is without pioneers like Jordan, sporting giants like Messi might not have had the leverage they possess today. The foundation was laid, and now with platforms like Instagram, where a Messi post can practically shake the earth, the game has utterly transformed. But let's talk numbers for a second, particularly Messi's choice between immediate cash or long-term benefits. Imagine being offered $400 million upfront by Al Hilal. Tempting, right? But then consider potential future cash flows from enduring deals with giants like Apple. The financial geeks amongst us know it all comes down to present value and discounted cash flows. Sure, immediate cash is great, but those long-term deals, they can be gold mines if played right. Looking back at Jordan, he might not have had the highest salary player, but his NBA salaries are a mere fraction, just 4% of his career earnings. He played the long game, betting on himself and his partnership with Nike, and boy, did it pay off. In both their tales, there is a lesson for us. Sometimes it's not just about a quick buck, it's about the legacy, the empire, and yes, the jam tomorrow. At this point, we have established that Messi is a brand by himself. But could his move to the US kickstart a sports financial revolution? In a September 2022 CNBC interview, David Rubenstein, the co-founder of another private equity giant, Carlyle, said, "It's very difficult to buy a sports team and lose money. Some people have done it, but it's rare. In the NFL, you make money all the time because it's so profitable." Now that's a statement from a guy who knows his finances. To give you an idea of the gold rush happening in the world of sports franchises, let's go back in time a bit. Since 2004, sports franchises have outpaced the S&P 500 by a big margin. How big? Let's break it down. 2004 to 2022, the S&P 500 grew by 317%. Good, right? But if you dabbled in the NBA, your investments would have skyrocketed by 1,079%. That's over a 10x growth in less than 20 years. And MLS, a staggering 1,565% growth. Sure, it started from a lower base than the NBA, but just look at those numbers. So why are these franchises so valuable, you might wonder? Well, let's understand the different revenue streams. The first is the loyal fan base, the heartbeat of any sports team. The second are entertainment rights. Broadcasting matches equals a big revenue stream. Third is merchandising. We've all bought a jersey or a scarf, haven't we? The fourth is city monopolies. In the US, most franchise teams dominate their respective cities. And number 5 is the cool factor. Owning a team is a status symbol. These revenue streams are what is turning these franchises into golden geese, with everyone wanting a piece of the pie. But like all investments, there are risks. There were times when clubs bit off more than they could chew. But if you could see this through the lens of an investor, the game of sports is a lucrative one. And it's not just about football or basketball. This financial boom is sweeping across all sports. So as Messi makes his moves, the world of sports keeps evolving, and it's a fascinating world, isn't it? Now, coming back to Aries, let's understand how these private equity players make big money. Alright, so think about the NFL. It's like the golden egg everyone wants a piece of. But did you know there's this rule where ownership isn't allowed? Yeah, it sounds bizarre given it's one of the biggest sports franchises on the planet. But here's the twist. In the US, especially in the NBA, you can only buy 30% of a team. And if you're a lone investor, then that number comes down to just 20%. Recently, these rules shifted a bit. Back in 2021, they opened the doors for private equity firms to dive into NBA teams. Now think about the ripple effect. When massive financial players enter the scene, they naturally jack up the prices, right? So if you're in a position where you can't own the entire pie, what do? Get a slice that's the juiciest. Some firms have opted to buy entire leagues. Over in the UK, Bridgepoint created the 100, a new cricket tournament, and invested a whopping £400 million. And let's not forget those broadcasting rights. There's a huge chunk of the cake there too. Private equity firm CVC Capital, for example, splashed out $1.5 billion just for a stake in these broadcasting rights. In the end, where there's money to be made, people will always find a way. When one door closes, another opens, right? Have you ever wondered how these big private equity firms handle their investments? Let's break it down. You might think their game plan is to dive in, shake things up, and then cash out with a hefty profit. But that's not always the case, especially with sports franchises. Imagine you're buying a house. Instead of flipping it, you decide to rent it out for some steady income. That's what these private equity firms are doing with sports franchises. It's less about the quick flip and more about the long haul. They're eyeing those continuous cash flows, kind of like the rent from a tenant. Now think about the Premier League and its TV right. Those deals are locked in for years. For private equity firms, that's music to their ears, steady income for years to come. Considering the current scene in private equity, their dealings with some tough decisions. They bought companies for billions, but selling them for a profit? That's a head scratcher. But with these sports franchise investments, it's like they're adding a reliable tenant to their real estate portfolio. Cash keeps rolling in. To sum up, it's about stability. These investments might just be the cushion against those unpredictable market storms. Friends, let's tie things up with none other than David Beckham. Remember when he used to play for LA and later dipped his toes into Miami soccer scene? Yeah, the same Miami team that, let's be honest, hasn't quite lit up the stage just yet. But with a city bursting with soccer enthusiasts and Messi potentially being the missing piece of the puzzle, could Beckham's venture be a gold mine in the making? Let's talk some numbers. Our man Beckham reportedly pumped in $25 million into Inter Miami back in 2021. This might have landed him, let's speculate, about 30% stake in the club. Some news reports suggest club's value skyrocketed from around $80 million to a staggering $580 million in just 2 years. An 8x return on investment. That's not bad, right? And guess what? The buzz is With Messi's magic touch and Beckham's brand power, some are speculating this club could soar to a whopping $1.5 billion valuation in the next year. Sounds crazy, right? But then look at the titans of NBA and NFL. Some of them are lounging at valuations close to $9 billion. So combining Miami's passion for soccer, Messi's prowess, and Beckham's brand, could we be seeing the birth of another sports giant? I mean, with all he's achieved, isn't it about time we start calling him Sir David Beckham? What say you? In the dynamic interplay of sports, business, and celebrity branding, a new financial frontier is emerging. Over the decades, sports franchises have transformed from mere entertainment powerhouses to economic titans, consistently outpacing traditional investment benchmarks like the S&P 500. Enter Lionel Messi, not just a soccer sensation, but a brand in himself. His potential move to the US could usher in an era of unprecedented financial ripples in the sports world. What drives these franchises to their soaring heights? The heartbeat of loyal fans, the global allure of broadcasted matches, the universal appeal of team merchandise, and the dominant presence in their respective cities, and the sheer prestige of ownership. Ownership in sports is an intricate dance. With arenas like the NBA, there's a delicate balance of percentages. And now, as private equity giants make their entrance, the dynamics of sport investment is being rectified. Ownership in sports is an intricate dance. With arenas like the NBA, there's a delicate balance of percentages. And now, as private equity giants make their entrance, the dynamics of sport investments are being redefined. Broadcasting rights as the treasure chests of this age, with stakes running into billions. As we navigate this landscape, David Beckham's vision with Inter Miami unfolds. Add the potential magic of Messi into the mix, and Miami could be, well, the new soccer capital. In essence, the world of sports today is not just about athleticism. It's a grand stage of financial strategy, fan passion, and iconic branding. This synergy promises to reshape how we perceive sports, city branding, and the creation of fortunes. As we stand at this exciting crossroads, I want to hear from you. What future do you envision for sports businesses? Do you see Inter Miami becoming the next big thing in soccer? And now that Messi has joined, will that change the game? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're enjoying these deep dives, please hit that thumbs up. And if you want to join us for more such chats, don't forget to subscribe. Together, we'll keep exploring the amazing world of sports and business. Catch you all in the next video. Bye for now.